Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. All right. What do we got here? Trump says he didn't sign the proclamation invoking the Alien Enemies Act. Oh, this ought to be good. Trump basically made some comments when asked to respond to Judge James Boasberg's concerns in court that the proclamation was signed in the dark of the night and migrants were hurried onto planes. Trump: we want to get criminals out of our country, number one, and I don't know when it was signed because I didn't sign it. Other people handled it. But Marco Rubio has done a great job and he wanted them out, and we go along with that. We want to get criminals out of our country. The proclamation invoking the Alien Enemies Act appears in the Federal Register with Trump's signature on the bottom. The White House, trying to spin it, said that Trump was not talking about whether he signed the document last week. He, quote, President Trump was obviously referring to the original Alien Enemies Act that was signed in 1798. The recent executive order was personally signed by President Trump invoking the Alien Enemies Act that designated Tren de Aragua as a federal terrorist organization in order to apprehend and deport these heinous criminals. Problem is, Trump said, that other people handled it, and he specifically mentioned Marco Rubio is at odds with the White House's statement. So even the White House can't spin this one. Now the question is, why would Trump do that? And that's comes later in the article. The judge, Boasberg, was really upset. Basically, and I will get to the bottom of who violated my order, who ordered this, and what the consequences will be. He told DOJ attorney Drew Ensign that the government used intemperate and disrespectful language that he's never heard from the United States before, as it pushed various legal arguments before him, including the suggestion that the judge's orders from the bench carried less weight than a written order that was issued shortly after those proceedings. Trump, where's that quote from Trump on this one? That's right. Trump said it would be up to Rubio. When asked, Trump raised Rubio's name without prompting for reporters. He was then asked a hypothetical question about whether he would send another deportation flight to El Salvador tonight amid the ongoing litigation. Trump said it would be up to Rubio. I would say I have the Secretary of State handle that because I'm not really involved in that. But the concept of getting rid of bad people, murderers, rapists, drug dealers, and all that, there are really some bad people out of our country. I ran on that. I won on that. In other words, Trump is trying to distance himself from responsibility for this because he knows there are some legal consequences. And so Marco Rubio is going to be the first thrown under the bus for this. Okay? Typical Trump makes some harebrained decision, and if it works out, he takes credit for it, and if there's fallout from it, he'll find a patsy to throw under the bus. That patsy's name is Marco Rubio. So let's take a look at the energy around the defying of the judge's order when the judge said, stop those flights, and if the flight's in the air, turn it around, and the White House pretty much ignored it. They released a statement saying they were going to ignore it. I don't know how they're going to justify that one, but the judge ain't having it. This is for entertainment purposes only. Come on down. Let's take a look at the energy around this case, the judge's current feeling, Trump, and everything along those lines. Again, entertainment purposes only. Foundational reading is the devil. Trump's lying. This is just another corrupt action by a corrupt administration. And here's the problem, that this is going to be one of those times where there's going to be some consequences. And they don't have an easy out on this one. Trying to explain that Trump somehow was referring to a case from 1798 when he says, I don't know who signed it. That's not going to hold water in court. As the reporters point out, then why'd you call out Rubio? That makes no sense in the context of the question. Again, the White House says, obviously he was talking about that. There's no obviousness about it. your argument makes less sense than what would obvious be, which would be that he's denying he ever did something like this. There's more to come with this. There's going to be more revealed about the planning. I think when they start investigating in this, they're going to start looking about the discussion, asking about the discussions that led up to this. There's going to be a request for emails and documentation. Give me the whole story of what led to this executive order that I stopped and you carried on doing it anyways. In the past, you got the Tower card here. This is not a good moment. Defying the courts. This is the play that authoritarians use. They try to defy the courts and then challenge the courts. The thing is, they've been broadcasting their willingness to defy the courts for months. So when it happened, it's still a shock when it happens, but it's not a big shock because they've been messaging that they planned on doing this for a while. That's not going to work in Trump's favor. Current situation, the heartbreak, and the betrayal. You got the three co-equal branches of the government, and the judicial branch is being ignored. This is going to have some financial consequences. I don't know how you find the government, but there's an evaluation of values, money. There could be a money trail that's also involved with this too. We're probably going to find out how much we paid El Salvador to take these people, and then where did that money go? Who got that money? Where did the money go that came from this? The money might actually be the undoing. The lesson to be learned is the Six of Cups. A lot of the United States works on people trying to do the right thing, being good actors, which is why the country worked without strict laws. But when you have a bad actor in there violating the strict laws, it falls apart. But this is a judge's order, and there are laws around that. There's going to be some relationship consequences with this. I'm not quite sure what this is going to be. Outcome is the Queen of Swords. Oh, the courts are not going to have it. If the administration tries to, appease the judge or come up with different arguments towards the judge with this, it's not going to hold water. It's not going to hold water at all. The judge is not happy with what happened here. The judge made it pretty darn clear what the order was, and the Trump administration naively ignored it. Again, this is what happens when you surround yourself with yes men. They will do everything you tell them to because they're yes men. And maybe they're too dumb to know the consequences because they're not put in there due to their intellect and their critical thinking skills. They're put in there because they say yes, and then they do everything they can to make to force through the person in charge's agenda. And they're judged and rewarded by how effective they are in enacting the agenda. First off, you can't say no. Oh, God, this thing's a mess. How's Trump thinking about this right now? He's already setting things up to throw Rubio under the bus. The Rubio reading on this one's going to be more fun. But how's Trump looking at this one? A bunch of four-carders. Here we come. King of Pentacles. Remember I said there was money involved? I wonder if he's got the money. There's almost like, yeah, he's got the payout coming here. The Seven of Cups. So the King of Pentacles. We got underneath the Seven of Cups, the Ace of Swords, Three of Swords, And the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, it's like he's in charge and he needs a fall guy. You know, he's the king. You do what I tell you to. You know, he's delusional. And, you know, if he gets in trouble, he looks for the coffee boy to get rid of it. Does he think he's in trouble? He doesn't, because he thinks he's a king and that kings get to do whatever they want to do. And he's delusional, and you can't say no to a king. The Supreme Court has set him up for this. He doesn't... It's almost like he's insane in that he doesn't understand the consequences of his choices. I realize that sounds way too generous because he clearly does understand those consequences. But because the Supreme Court made the presidency a kingdom, a monarchy, you can't be criminally prosecuted, he feels he can do anything he wants to do. All he has to do is decree it, and it's law and it can be done. And that's not how it works. The Supreme Court has gummed up their own court systems. Which now leads to another question. Now, will this case have to go up to the Supreme Court, causing the Supreme Court to have to re-rule or amend their rule on presidents or kings? The whole thing that got him out of his court cases. Because now they can back off on it, because Trump, the whole point was to delay the court cases so Trump could make it to the election without having to go through court cases. And now that he's the president, there's not going to be any prosecutions for 4 years. How's Rubio feeling right now? Because, you know, Trump may be criminally immune, but Rubio's not. If Trump orders Rubio to shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and Rubio does it, Trump can't be held criminally liable for giving a presidential order to murder somebody, but Rubio doesn't have that protection when he pulls the trigger or orders the next person to do it. See what I mean? Okay, how's Rubio feeling about all this? Nine of Wands. I think he's he's nervous. It's like, yeah, I should have seen that one coming. Trump throwing him under the bus, but I mean, you know, it's kind of like he did it, taking a chance, knowing he did it, hoping Trump protects him type of thing. This is not good. He's not in a good space right now. Because now you have to rely on trust. You have to rely on Trump to protect you. That's not where you want to be. He's a yes man too. He did what he was told. He was a good little boy who did everything he was told to do. And Trump's the kind of person, I made you Secretary of State, and now you have to do what I tell you to because I gave you a gift, and so now you owe me your soul type of thing. Marco Rubio lacks integrity. This is the card of integrity, and his lack of integrity has now put him in a situation where it was a foolhardy thing to do that and not push back on Trump. Also the Magician underneath it. He played a big role in this. He created this opportunity. He made this happen. And now, you know, the Queen of Pentacles, there's going to be... He is relying on Trump to protect him. That's the only thing that's going to protect him on this, is Trump protecting him. And if Trump opts not to do that, he's screwed. So in some ways, Rubio now has to do everything Trump tells him what to do and trust that Trump will protect him. What a delusional thing to do, because Trump is the master of illusions and false promises. Yeah, he'll protect you as long as you're doing what he wants you to, sure. But the minute he needs somebody to throw under the bus, he's toast. Rubio will be toast. Rubio's in a bad spot. And I love that for him because he chose that. Hey, what you doing? He's waking up from his nap. Come on over. People want to say hello and see you. Meow, 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 meow. Here, you can play with this turkey feather too. Pair of eyes. Ding. All right, so you get your cat fix. Hey, why is the screen going dark on the cat? Well, people don't want to see me. They want to see the cat. There, we'll give it out. It would help if I had the green towel draped over the back of the chair to give him some contrast there. He's going to go sniff his turkey feather there. Because what cat doesn't want to play with a turkey feather? Okay, so Trump doesn't care because he's protected. Rubio's only protected so long as he does what Trump tells him to. And the more you do what Trump tells you to, the more criminal liability you bring upon yourself. What a terrible situation. And now I forgot the other question I was going to ask with this one. Oh yes, Supreme Court. Will this go up to the Supreme Court? Is there going to be challenges on this? Will this case go to the Supreme Court such that they have to review their president's or king's ruling from the summer of 2024, which got Trump out of all of his court cases? That's oddly specific, but let's see what the energy around this case in the Supreme Court's looking like here. We'll do a quick one here. Six of Wands, victory, taking a look, victory, and the Empress, taking care of things. They handed Trump that victory through a charitable event, and now there's consequences to the rule of law in general. There are agreements that they came to, and now the complications that come with that, making presidents or kings. They're going to have to re-review that case and look at it now that they see what the consequences are when you give Trump that type of victory. Make some movement on it, and then make changes that they don't want to do. They have to carve out some firmer boundaries with this. I would not be surprised. One clarifier on this: are they going to do things to keep protecting Trump? There's your trumpet card right there in judgment. I think they will re-review it, but they will still try and do it in such a way that they're protecting Donald Trump in this case while dialing back the worst of their decisions. It could also be that by the time this gets to them, that Donald Trump is no longer a viable president, a viable candidate, a viable threat to them. And then once Donald Trump is irrelevant, they can back off on that because they don't need to protect him anymore. This ruling was purely to protect him. And now that if he's gone, through mental health, physical health, decertification, whatever, if he's no longer relevant to that, they don't owe him anything. Yeah, we'll see how that works out. Anyways, thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, but I do hope you found it insightful, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.